Hi everyone, it's Lejay, the Lex Oracle, and today I want to talk to you guys about something that is very much a hot topic, and that is relationships in the Black community, Black women dating. Um, there seems to be a lot of talk about that and has been for quite some time. Um, I'm going to talk about some things that people don't really talk about a lot, and the female perspective of what has really been going on, as well as some of the biological perspective of what's been going on. And I'll try to be swift and quick because I want to get to the point so that you guys can really chew on what I am saying. Okay, so I have my notes here. I'm ready. All right, so first of all, I want to talk about the amount of disrespect that Black women have continuously accepted in the Black community, whether it be from hip hop, whether it be from, the cat calling at the grocery store. It's very common. Currently, Black women are dying every 6 hours due to intimate partner violence. So there's a problem. Like let's not deny that there is a problem. And I feel like this problem is spiritual. I feel like it's cultural. And I feel like it is also psychological. And so, yes, I want to talk about this. So, first of all, Black women were not given the tools to date. Most Black women I know, myself included, were either in one or two categories. They were not allowed to date at all. And then at some point, they were magically an adult and had to go out into the world and figure out dating. Or they were allowed to kind of date a little bit, but they were given very like generic rules. And that generic rule was typically don't get pregnant. No one really teaches Black women how to not get caught up in toxic relationships. No one really tells Black women that they're safe. Like if something goes on with that boy, call me and you're safe. Like sometimes that happens. I know some Black women that have that safety net. But a lot of times Black women are in very toxic and abusive situations because their partners, their families are like not very, they're not very protective, right? And the abuser is kind of like, what's she gonna do? Like if I beat her up, who's she gonna call, right? Which is a major issue. Major issue. Black women are told that we are supposed to do things in order to get a man. I don't really hear this in other social groups, in other cultural groups of friends that I have that are non-Black. I don't hear them talking about how they have to do things in order to get said male to give them attention or love or pay all the bills. Like there's always like this performative thing. Like even if you look at the whole ride or die culture, it's like, would you risk your safety for me? Like it's absolutely backwards and crazy because the woman is not the pursuer. That is not how we're like created to pursue. And in a lot of Black relationships, that's kind of how they end up, with the woman doing all of the pursuing, or the woman moving the dude in, the woman helping him get into school. A lot of Black women have not been given the opportunity to actually date and enjoy themselves and be pursued and courted. And they are literally almost instantly, it's like you need to go into audition mode and show me why I should give you the time of day. It is very effeminate. Very, very effeminate. And the woman ends up being in the masculine role and the man ends up being in the feminine role. Now, what has been going on is because men have been mothered for so long and have been allowed to be they've been coddled so long by their sisters and their aunties and their mamas, and they haven't had fathers in the home at all, uncles, grandfathers in the home at all. And if they did, a lot of these influences were teaching them how to be players, how to be pimps, how to be non-committal, how to have a bunch of babies and not take care of them as males, right? And so um what has been happening is these men, okay, and let me explain something to you. This is where the problem is happening. Men bond, their bonding hormone is something called vasopressin. And I won't go really deep into this because I'm going to go deeper in this into the course for those who want to move forward and really like shift the trajectory of their dating life and their love life. Men, like, they have a different bonding hormone than us. And so that hormone is triggered by different things. Just like our hormone is triggered by different things. Like oxytocin, the female bonding hormone, like that happens when we give birth. It happens when we give people hugs. It happens when we breastfeed, right? It happens when we have an orgasm. Vasopressin doesn't necessarily work that way. And testosterone does not work like estrogen. And men do not think like women. Okay? That's the point I want to make. And men who are biologically created to compete, right? And to work through hardship, to receive gratification and biological fulfillment through doing something physically laborious, something that is considered hard in our society. That's what gives a man gratification. I was actually talking to my friend about this the other day, and I was like, if there's a young teenage boy who was taught how to fish by his dad, and it becomes his job to do the fishing for the family, and he continues to do that, and everyone's like, oh man, this is great, the fish is great, you got a really big one this time, man. That's gonna make him want to do that more because he's being praised for it, right? It feeds the male ego, right? Now, women are not groomed. We're not biologically created like that, right? You can tell a little girl, okay, I need you to go out here and go fish. Everybody telling her you did a good job today is not going to make her like spark up and get super excited. You know, that's not how women are created. Like that doesn't give us the thing that makes us super happy and excited. Women want to feel secure, adored. They want to feel chosen. That is how we receive love. Men receive love from praise and from getting physical gratification, for instance, sex, for something that he has done. Okay, so masculine energy pursues, it decides, and it builds, and feminine energy it receives, attracts, and blesses, right? And women are multipliers, right? So men who are supposed to work and put forth effort for things in order to get to really feel like they have done something gratifying and good and worth working for, right? When you have men and that's their biological makeup, and these men they don't have to do anything to have sex. Like, they don't have to do really do much of anything to get sex from women. Not even pay sometimes, right? Like, they don't even have to do anything to get this energy and this love and adoration and feminine presence. They don't have to do anything to get it. They don't have to do anything to get a woman to commit to him, right? The woman is actually chasing him, begging him for a commitment, begging him for a ring, right? So what's happened is men have become extremely demasculinized, and women have become extremely masculinized in the Black community. So Black women are working harder to get men, and the men are pulling back, and the men are doing very feminine things, such as asking, well, what do you bring to the table? And girl, you better pay 50-50. You know, this is what Black women are dealing with. And this is the result of decades and decades and decades and decades, if not centuries, but definitely decades, as far as our Black experience in the United States, of Black women. And there are so many Black women that are educated, that are smart, that are beautiful, that have the body, they have all of this different stuff. And they're like, why can't I find a man? First of all, one of the first things I'm going to say is that Black women are race loyal. So knowing the amount of trauma that Black men have and the way they don't like to go to therapy, you're definitely locking yourself you're kind of locking yourself in by only choosing to deal with black men. I'm just going to say that and leave that where it is. Two, because of the way things have been, there have to be boundaries. There have to be very strict, serious boundaries. Like, we have to stop living with men before we're married to them. We have to stop giving men the time of day without him giving a proper offering to the goddess. We have to stop even entertaining the idea of boyfriend girlfriend relationships, because they're a joke. Okay. And I think a lot of us have gotten to an age that we're kind of, it doesn't even really make sense anymore to do that either. Okay. So one of the things I want to talk about, and I go through this in my free PDF that I'm going to put a link in the description box as well as the comments for you to view, is vetting. So one of the big issues with vetting is that a lot of black women don't have dads and uncles and brothers that are upstanding enough or don't care enough to actually do the vetting process. When a man comes into your life and he's talking about being your man and y'all get married or anything like that, he needs to go through a serious vetting process through the men and or community, your personal community, because he needs to know that if he gets out of pocket, that there's going to be consequences. This would greatly reduce the amount of domestic violence, sexual abuse towards children that occurs in a lot of black women's relationships. Dating is actually a word that needs to be thrown in the trash, but I'm going to use it in the general term. Dating is supposed to be a form of worship. It's really supposed to be courtship, but whether you want to be married or not, it's supposed to be seen as a form of worship. It is not supposed to be seen as a time for you to do any type of performing at all. At all. And that's one of the main issues. Is black women are told that this is your time to like prove to me how good. Why should I date you? Why should I cut off all my other chicks for you? And that's what black women do, is they as if their presence is not a gift by itself. Real men know this. And so no one really has time for that. The whole 50-50 conversation, this is again why these men need to be vetted by the proper people in your community, which I will go deeper into when the course is finalized. But I wanted to talk about this and really tell black women the whole girlfriend thing has to stop. Stop letting. This is something that has been really big in a lot of high value women's circles. And you'll be like, how did that girl get married so fast? Especially if they are Caucasian or they're in a Middle Eastern community. Now, some of them do arranged marriages. Okay, so don't get me wrong, but that's partly because their culture has a certain standard. And I'll go, I'll talk about, and again, I really feel like modern dating is anti-black misogyny because it keeps black women in limbo. It allows the way it's created now, the way it has been structured now, it keeps black women in limbo and it keeps them in a performative state. And they are never able to get some of the things that they get. And you will see women who just, boom, they get married, or boom, they get this really amazing provider partner that does all of these amazing things for them. And you're like, how did she do that? And it's in her ability to communicate with the masculine, right? And that's a skill that's cultivated that a lot of women of other races are taught in their adolescence. But it's also, she probably gave him a layaway lockout. And what is a layaway lockout? A layaway lockout is a conversation that you have with a man where you're pretty much like, I'm not going to do the girlfriend thing with you. Okay? Until we can do something permanent, I'm going to date other people. And I like you, but we're not going to be boyfriend, girlfriend. Like, I'm a little bit too mature for that. And there are different ways to say that, but this is a conversation that black women need to start having instead of letting men play in their face, live off of them, make excuses. And I always felt like this because I always felt like dating was absolutely ridiculous, but I never got the verbiage, and I never got the feminine education from my maternal elders on how to really put my foot down and how to really have standards to avoid these situations that they told me to avoid, I wasn't given the skills. And so um, I want to give women the skills on how to navigate this so that you don't keep ending up, in limbo and not getting the answers that you need and not getting the clarity that you need, not getting the commitment that you deserve and need. And even the aspect of you picking niggas that are just not, they're just not up to par. They're just not up to par. They just don't have it together. And you're like, I don't even understand how I ended up here. Because I've been there. Okay, I'm just gonna tell you. Like, I don't even understand how I ended up here in this type of relationship. How I got, how we got this far. Because I'm not even happy. How did I get here? And it's because you're just not given the skills to set the correct type of boundaries initially so that you don't go down a path of foolishness. So I wanted to talk about that. All my information is gonna be in the description box. I'm gonna pin a link to the freebie in the comments because I really want y'all to get this, because I know so many very beautiful, educated Black women and non-Black women too, who have this constant issue with players and stuff like that. And I have the remedy for that. I got the remedy for that. So I'll talk to you guys soon. My link will be below. And I hope to see you guys soon. And I will be having a really, really amazing course for women like myself who have shifted to another paradigm in relationships, and they're not going for the okie doke anymore. And I'm telling you, it's a really peaceful place to be. So I'll see you guys next time. Peace.